You just stumbled upon JK'z Rewatchable Hour.
There it is. There we go.
Sometimes you gotta
All
cut a
right.
motherfucker.
All right, there. I just turned you all to your side because that's what we do here. We turn people on or off. You know, I don't know. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is JK'z Rewatchable Hour. It is Thursday, August 15th of some year. I don't know. Luckily, I even knew what day it was. We are joined by, as always, Miss Becky Cherwalk. Up, and if you're looking at the screen, up in the right, that is Mr. George. We also have my wife, Jen, on the show today. We are talking recipes. Why? Because I think we make some pretty good food. I always send you guys pictures of whatever I make, and I think recipes. I think we always go out to eat, and we always tell everybody what we're making. So why not just share it with our viewers? Who would like to go first, Mr. George?
Okay.
I will be right back. I'm going to slop the hogs. I'm still listening. Carry on. All right.
Okay. I'm actually going to start with a recipe that I kind of made last minute, almost on an accident.
Those are the best.
Years ago when my kids were younger and in school, my oldest daughter was traveling with the soccer team, so she was eating wherever. And my youngest daughter and my son, I got home and they said, my daughter came out and said, tonight's the first night of play practice. I had forgotten. I thought it was the next day. What I had planned to cook was going to take like an hour. I had like 40 minutes, counting getting them there. So I opened the cupboard. I had a can of kidney beans, 1 can of the chili beans. It's got like a chili sauce in it. I threw them in a pan with some tomato sauce, tomato paste, but it wasn't enough. I'm like, okay, what do I do? I opened the cupboard again, and there was a can of barbecued baked beans. So I said, why not? I threw it in, and there was a packet of taco seasoning, and I threw that in. And I made it up, and I just let it simmer for, let it heat up, and then I let it simmer while everybody was getting ready. And I threw in a couple other seasonings, just like salt, pepper, and a little chili powder. And they had a small bowl before going to play practice. They took some in a thermos. And my daughter has a friend who is, I want to say she has celiac disease. Is that okay? Is that where you can't eat meat? Like it'll make you sick?
No, celiac is like stuff in the bread.
Oh, okay.
I think
that's not what that might not be she might have had that too, and she might have to be gluten free as well.
Yeah,
but I know she couldn't eat meat. That also made her sick. But this had no meat in it because I kind of threw it together, just a couple cans of beans that I had with taco seasoning.
Oh, okay. I'm hooked. Tacos.
It was basically almost like, it kind of reminded me almost like a bean taco without the shell. But I did have the tomato paste in there. So it was kind of weird. But she came up and the girl that was a vegetarian, that couldn't eat meat, couldn't eat all that, she came up and told me how much she loved it. And it was just something I threw together because I literally had I was like, okay, takes 5 minutes to get to the school. They need to go in. So we got 10 minutes. So instead of 40 minutes, I have like 20 minutes to make something. And I got to get out of my work clothes. So it was like just something I threw together. It was such a hit. I've made it a few times since then.
We're going to have to try that. So basically it was chili beans?
It was one can of kidney beans drained. I drained the fluid out of that. drain the juice out of that. But the one can you get, it's just chili beans. You get in the same section as you get the kidney beans.
Yeah.
And one was a Bush's barbecued baked beans, and threw that in there. And then, like I said, a packet of taco seasoning, and then just a couple other salt, pepper, a little bit of chili powder. And that's it. And tomato paste.
You had me at the taco seasoning. Trust me. You had me hooked at tacos. I mean, just, you could sprinkle taco seasoning on poop and I'd eat it.
All right.
Oh,
The
sorry.
25th. The 25th, that's what I'm making you.
Sweet. All right.
Because it doesn't sound like there's any gluten in it. I'm the one with celiac disease. I can't have gluten.
But
yeah. I don't know if that's what she had. I don't know if that's what she had. I just know she couldn't eat. I just knew she couldn't eat any meat.
Okay.
At my daughter's graduation party, we had to make her stuff that she could eat because she couldn't have what we were cooking on the grill.
Oh. So Jen just made a good point. So it was almost like cowboy beans.
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Cowboy beans, but kind of like more taco-y than hamburger.
Yeah. Mexican cowboy beans.
Absolutely. Hey,
That's
sometimes sometimes the shit that you just throw together, like, it just comes out really, really like fantastic. Which actually leads me to, I'll go into a recipe, which I call Jeff's concoction. See?
Yeah. We got you.
No. So, here is mine. I'm sure that growing up, most of us had, elbow macaroni or shells and butter, right? Sprinkle a little bit of garlic powder, right?
Yeah.
Great, right?
Yeah.
Cheap, inexpensive. But I made it for Jen once, many years ago, and I took it just one little step farther. Yep.
I thought you were talking about that.
No, I'm gonna say that. No, because that's my favorite. So what I did, so I got it was small shells, right? And I boiled them up, and in another little pan or pot, I had a small one large can of diced petite tomatoes. You heat that up with a little bit of crushed red pepper and just a splash of garlic powder, okay? Obviously seasoned to own liking. And then I had another pot full of one large can of whole tomatoes. Again, I added a little bit of crushed red pepper. You cook everything up right. You get your noodles the way you want them, and you drain it, and you put however many noodles you want in a bowl with just a little bit of butter and a little bit more of garlic powder, and then you just mix all that up, and then you add the tomatoes together, mix that up, and there you go. And you add, you can add your own seasoning like salt, pepper, Italian seasoning, more crushed red pepper, and she liked it. She didn't think that she was gonna like it, but she liked it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just something quick, simple.
Loves butter.
And I don't know, I think the prep time was 5 minutes and cook time was just the noodles.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I grew up on eating stuff like just noodles and butter and garlic powder, and hey, can't knock it.
Fills your belly.
Go ahead, tell one of your recipes. Here we go.
You want? I made this the other night. I found it on Pinterest. It's Fiesta chicken in the crock pot. You just take 4 chicken breasts, packet of the Fiesta ranch dip, and then we get the taco chicken packet of powder, can of black beans drained and rinsed, can of Rotel tomatoes, can of corn, block of cream cheese. You save the cream cheese till later, but you cook it on low for 4 hours. Shred the chicken, put it back in, cream cheese, and then 40 more minutes and it's done. And we make it over brown rice.
Nice.
Quick and simple.
So the first time that she made because you got corn and black beans, right? So at first I was like, okay, it smells good, but wow, yeah. When you started adding the taco seasoning, I gotta tell you, wow, just and it's even better the second day.
Yeah.
Roasted chicken.
So,
Good.
Um,
How'd you make it?
I think what I'm
Pretty
going to do is
Is
when
up
we
with you.
upload
That's
this
it.
show to our channel, I'll write down all the ingredients so everybody can
fry.
read it. But
Right.
so, I'm going to read one of Miss Aline's because it's really weird. You know, the one person who has a huge garden and does all the canning, and every time I send you guys a picture of anything zucchini or whatever, she's like, bleh. You know, she always sends like a puke emoji because she doesn't like green stuff. I don't know, but you would think that somebody like Aline who has her own garden, makes everything from scratch, would appreciate zucchini and squash, but I don't know. So I'm going to give away her secret recipe of her famous meatballs. Famous, I'm just going with it.
Watch
So
it.
here
What?
is Aline's
Watch
meatball recipe.
When?
Oh.
A quarter cup
What?
of seasoned breadcrumbs. God, I got to work on my handwriting. Look at that. Can you guys read that shit? No. Look at that. Man, that's like a third grader. All right. Quarter cup seasoned breadcrumbs, a half a cup of milk, 1 pound ground beef or venison. I like venison. Like venison? All right. Half teaspoon of onion powder, 2 teaspoons dried parsley, a half teaspoon garlic powder, a half teaspoon dried basil, a half teaspoon dry oregano, 3/4. Why can't you just buy frozen meatballs? 3/4 teaspoon kosher salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of freshly cracked black pepper, and a half cup of freshly grated Parmesan cheese or Romano, 1 egg. So you cook the onion and beef, you drain all that. And then you add, then you just add it all together like you normally would meatballs. You know what? I'm sorry, I was starting to read the other one. Yep. So then you just mix it all together like you normally would, and you just make your meatballs.
How long do you put it in the oven for?
She didn't tell me. So seriously, she did not tell
Get a
me.
little piece of chicken off your plate. Tiny piece.
Don't have any.
So
Who's that?
George, what
All
else you
right.
got?
No one.
Okay.
Get it
This
like
next
that.
one isn't necessarily a recipe.
Food. Eat.
It's just, you know how you go to certain restaurants like that sell ribs and they're fall off the bone ribs? What I do now, and I only learned this recently when I started smoking ribs and different things, I put a dry rub on it. It's just a bought dry rub. I don't even make my own dry rub. But the problem is ribs are done at 165 degrees. The meat does not start to render until 195. So you got to cook them until they're almost 200 degrees. And that's how you get the fall off the bone ribs.
Oh,
Simple. It's all about temperature. Doesn't matter what you put on. You can put whatever you want on them. You have to cook them hotter. You have to cook them past done to get them to fall off the bone.
we've talked
Like,
about getting a smoker as well, but I have no idea how.
Yeah, we could
I
probably use one.
I have an electric smoker, which I find was better than we had a pellet, you know, the
Yep.
wood pellets.
Yep.
And I've had a charcoal. The problem with a charcoal and the wood pellet is the temperature goes up and down.
So
On the electric, I plug it in, I
They
set the
made it.
temperature, done.
Yep.
It heats up to that temperature. When it drops 2 or 3 degrees below that temperature, it turns on. You know, it cranks out more heat.
So you get a more consistent heat with electric as you would
right.
anything. Okay, yeah, that makes
Right.
sense. Okay.
Right.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, I smoked a turkey and I was like, it's going to be dry. It was the juiciest turkey I've ever had in my life.
How long did it take?
Took your puppy.
It's like, I think the one I did, it took like 5 or 6 hours. What'll get you is a brisket. The average size brisket is
Keep
like
working out
12 to 14 pounds, right?
Water.
It takes you like 20 hours to smoke a big brisket.
Right.
Whole point.
You're
So, yeah.
the turkey.
Probably
How
laid
big
more
was the
times
turkey?
on that beach than any man
I
ever
want to
met.
say it was like a 12 pounder, like a 12 to
Alright.
14 pound turkey.
All right.
It takes,
That's fine.
it goes by the weight, and it's so long. Once it's heated up, it takes so long, but I usually just check the temperature. That's all I
Gotcha.
go by.
That's pretty
All
cool.
right.
I just always check the
And,
temp.
For when you do your ribs, what's the dry rub that you use? Just curious for our listeners.
Let me see. I'm not sure what it's called.
Good.
I thought he was gonna break into a song there for a second.
Beating on his chest.
Oh, that bad to the bone.
Bad
I
to the
tried that.
bone.
Okay. All right.
This is my turkey rub.
Cool.
All right.
You need to read that.
So
Maybe
right
you
now,
just
so I
get
got my phone turned sideways. So where it's saying how long we're recording is right in the way, and I can't move it. So I'll have to watch it so I can see that better, George.
All right. Yeah. I just get them at Walmart.
Yep.
And they got 1,000 different rubs that are specific for ribs or specific for turkey or brisket or whatever. And you could try different ones. I mean,
Right. I think
Yeah.
I think if we ever got a smoker, I think the best rub would be self rub.
Are you well done? There's no more chicken,
And-
honey.
oh,
All right.
Put your spoon in
So
the sink.
actually,
Molly,
we
help
really
him.
should think of a smoker, but
Okay, so the plate goes in
then
the
I get
garbage.
really lazy and I forget about it. But all right. So my next Jeff's concoction is you take. It's not. Well, no, it is. You're right. No, it is. It is. So, but see if you look, I said Tabasco sauce, but I wrote the wrong one. So anyway, you get one medium zucchini, one yellow squash.
No, I do
Sorry,
not know
Aline, but
him.
yes, green stuff is good for you, Aline.
Remember,
Molly,
left
there's
You get
some yellow,
either
there's
1
some
pound
vanilla
of
cookies up
kibasi
above the air
or
fryer.
chicken breast, okay? And then you get a
Right there.
half. You use a
Right,
half a
peanut
box of
butter.
pasta, whatever you want. You can use
invalid
penne.
to
You
go
could
back.
use large shells, medium shells.
Go
We
ahead.
used I don't suggest
Careful.
spaghetti for this one. You need 24 ounces of diced tomatoes. You need from Pampered Chef. I don't know if you can see that. You need this. Okay. Nod your head,
garlic
Becky.
parmesan. Garlic
Yep.
parmesan.
Yep. Okay. And you also
need help?
need at
All right.
Walmart. You go get that. Okay. I'm telling you, this shit is the bomb. Okay. And just a splash of that. Okay. So you get all that. And then what you do is you cut up your zucchini and squash however thick you want it, right? The thicker, the longer it's going to cook. We like to make it still just a little, so it's not like really flimsy and it flaps over like this.
Like we did
Yeah,
quarter last
Quarter,
time.
yep. And then you cut up your kibasi or sausage or chicken, however you want it, and you use all of these seasonings on everything, okay? Cook the chicken thorough. I don't want to get sued because nobody cooked the chicken completely through. Cook the chicken completely through. So you get everything heated up, right? You cook up your noodles, and you got your little pot of tomatoes going, right? You drain the noodles, mix everything together, okay? You can do any type of shredded cheese you want, whatever flavor you want. And after you add all that and you mix it together, top it off with some grated cheese and some hot sauce. I'm telling you, it's awesome.
Sounds good.
That was in your sausage and
Yeah.
potato.
No, but the one time I made it with the diced tomatoes.
But still.
And that's why, sometimes, after you just have the same thing over and over again, like George, when you were saying at one time you just grabbed everything out of the cupboard. That's how,
Yeah.
I just throw a bunch of shit together sometimes. I just come up with stuff,
That's
or
really good.
he sends me a recipe and I don't follow directions, and then I just make it up how I want to anyway. So,
Yeah.
but, obviously, the seasoning is to the person, however much they want. Like this stuff, I'm telling you, at Walmart, go get it. Go get it. Like if you make hamburger helper or tacos, just sprinkle a little bit on this. It's amazing. Trust me.
Or you can put on pork chops. Oh,
Yeah, pork
did the
chop,
other night.
chicken, everything. Yeah. Miss Becky, what did you make for dinner tonight, Miss Becky?
That's what I'm gonna start out with. Now, you've probably all seen my posts about honey garlic this and honey garlic that. And most of the time I'm not making a sauce. My daughter absolutely loves vegetables with this stuff. And tonight I actually coated our chicken with it. I don't know if you overheard Casey. He kept asking for more chicken. I didn't cook enough, apparently. I actually use this.
Huh.
Weber honey garlic. It's
Okay.
sweet, it's salty, it's peppery, and when you cook it at a high temp, it the honey and the sugar caramelize on it. So it's like a honey glaze. Molly stopped eating broccoli for about 4 or 5 years, and then I started using this. Now she actually likes it. And tonight we did something real simple. I just had corn and jasmine rice. Yes, give me 2 seconds, Miles, okay?
Okay.
Actually, just go ahead because I'll catch up with you.
Okay.
That's what we made tonight. And then let's see, what else should I put in here? Should we do sauce or should I just do goulash? My goulash.
Do sauce.
Okay.
No gravy.
The gravy. Okay. John's Italian.
You gotta listen.
He's from a certain area. This is called gravy. Okay. I grew up calling it sauce. Mine tasted okay, but since John's been around, it tastes a lot better. What you want to do is get your pan on, your pot on, stock pot, however much you're making. I only make enough for the house for the day. I don't make a ton, but this is actually really good. Put some olive oil in, about enough to coat the bottom of the pan. You'll probably have like 2 tablespoons or something like that. And you want to put in, I use garlic. A lot of people don't frown upon it because it's not as flavorful as fresh garlic. But I really, really hate mincing garlic because it's a pain in the ass. Okay? It does taste better, but I use probably a good 2 to 3 tablespoons of garlic. Now your heat is going, throw your garlic in, but only stir it until you can just smell it. After that, you got to start working real quick because you don't want that garlic to burn. That garlic burns, it's going to taste like crap. Okay?
No, you gotta throw it out.
You have to throw the whole thing out because it's going to be disgusting. Then I take dried basil. If I've got fresh basil, I use it, but dried basil. You want to use probably a good tablespoon or 2 of the dried basil. Now, the measurements are a lot, but it gives it the good flavor. Stir that around. As soon as you can smell that basil and garlic hit your nose, add your tomatoes. Now, I was making it like this because this is the way John said do it, and it turned out good. It is, what is it here? It's a 28-ounce can of either like tomato sauce, diced tomatoes, whatever you're going to use, right? And to me, tomatoes are tomatoes. It doesn't matter what kind they are. He kept saying, no, you got to use this kind because this is the kind that he used to use. He used to be a chef. So we're like, okay.
What's the name brand?
I'm going to show you. And we told my sister this, and she said, you're full of shit, just like I did.
Oh, she wanted to say I
So
was full of shit. We
bought a case on Amazon, and now Walmart actually sells it. So we pick it up every time we go. You need to add a can
Yellow.
of Pastine kitchen-ready tomatoes. These make a huge freaking difference. You can't tell me. I mean, yeah, you can get the San Marzanos, you can get the super fancy ones. There's something about these right here. They work so good. Once you get your tomatoes in there, you can stir it. You can add a little bit of water. I usually add a little bit if I'm going to cook it down. And after it cooks down a little bit before you're going to serve it, you want to throw in about 4 tablespoons of butter. Let it melt. Once it's melted, you are going to be in love. Pour that on your spaghetti, pour it over your pasta. You will want to actually find a bread, even if you can't eat gluten, which I always have gluten-free bread here, and sop it up and just dig in. It's got enough fat. It doesn't have any added sugar, so you don't need to go out and buy that Rouse stuff, that's like $8 a jar, which I think is too pricey, and it's still too sweet for me. And this, it takes about 15 minutes if you just let it simmer. I also use this as the basis of my goulash, and my family likes goulash, but they actually prefer it with sausage over hamburger. So usually what I do is I'll get the mild Italian sausage and I squeeze it out of the casings. You should love to see that while I'm here in the kitchen, squeeze. And I started off with that and some peppers and onions, and then I start the sauce. Now I make mine in my Instant Pot. So you're going to love this if you have one. This thing is fantastic. After you get everything in, you want to add after you add the tomatoes, you want to add a whole can of water in there. Okay. You take a box of elbows, rotini, penne, whatever you want to use. It depends on what we're doing. My kids like the rotini or the elbows. It just depends on the day. But whatever I have, put them in the Instant Pot. Give them a stir. You put the lid on and set the timer for pressure. If you're doing elbows, do 5 minutes. If you're doing penne or rotini, do 6 minutes, and just walk away. As soon as that timer is up, release the pressure on it, and you're all done. Your pasta is done in like 10 minutes, less than 15 minutes. You get a full pasta dinner. Yep. I was afraid to do it with gluten-free pasta because sometimes it can get gummy. Nope, it was perfect, and it tastes good, and everyone devours it. So, see, I told you I'd catch up. I got 3 recipes right there. So,
yep. No. So,
we'll move.
we have a funny story to share, but we're just going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to come right back in. And she was calling.
You were also in my mind.
As soon as the commercial break is over, I'll tell you the story. Be right back after the commercial break.
All right.
There we are.
Yo, and we're back.
And we're back. Thank you. So listen. That was a funny commercial. And George, I'm glad you kept your clothes on. So the funny story, and what's the name brand of that again, Becky, of the yellow can?
Pastine.
Okay. So when I was growing up, my mom used to make this thing, and my sister and I, we call it mom soup. And it's the simplest thing. It's zucchini, sausage, crushed tomatoes or whole tomatoes and tomato paste or something like that, and some water, right? My sister duplicates it. Okay. I mean, my sister can cook. She's an excellent cook. We got the recipe. We go to Walmart. We buy everything, and we get home. We make it. It's all right. And I call my sister and I'm like, hey, this really isn't all that good. And she's like, oh, well, what kind of tomatoes did you get? I'm like, I don't know, Hunt's or Great Value. He's like, oh no, you got to get this in a yellow can thing. And so we go to Tops.
Walmart, Wegmans.
Two Walmarts, Wegmans. We can't find this yellow thing at all, or the yellow label. We finally find it somewhere. I think we paid an outrageous price. It doesn't matter. I'm so happy. I'm going to duplicate my mom's awesome soup, right? And I'll upload the recipe too. So we get home, we make it, and I'm like, it still does not taste good.
She's not giving us some ingredients.
So she's like, well, what sausage did you buy? I'm like, I don't know, Great Value. He's like, no, you got to buy the Gianelli. I'm like, but the part
Gianelli sausage is really good.
It does taste. The secret ingredient.
It does taste really good.
Yep. So the secret ingredient, she's like, it has a yellow ribbon. So yeah. So awesome. So that was a funny story, but
So I was telling Becky when we were in commercial that I know I've had the Italian gravy because I spent 2 weeks in a little town called Pisa, Italy.
Mm-hmm.
oh.
When I was in the army, we were preparing for Bosnia, and we went to Italy to get trucks ready to go.
The nurse was my nurse.
So I spent 2 weeks there. Yes, I got to see the Leaning Tower and all that,
Right before I left.
but
Food was probably
every night-
fantastic.
oh
my
yeah,
gosh.
every night after 5 o'clock, we were basically go, do whatever you want. So we would all jump on. We had we had a bus that took us from the barracks that we were staying at to the motor pool. So we got on the bus, and one of us that was authorized to drive it would drive into town and just hang out all night, have fun, go eat somewhere. And yeah, so I spent 2 weeks in Pisa, Italy. Then I went back for like 2 days, but those 2 days we were getting ready to drive the vehicles to Bosnia. So
Right.
Oh,
I think
boy.
we need to go over to Becky's and just I got to try this. I mean, we need to try
you remember our spaghetti nights, George? This would
Yeah,
taste even
yeah.
better. This would taste even
Yeah.
better. This
Well,
sauce,
nice.
it's killer. And
Well,
then so
yeah.
my
Spaghetti
garlic
night.
bread has gone up
Spaghetti?
good too.
Now, what garlic do
It's
you
still not
use?
made right.
I really should be using fresh minced garlic, like John asked, but I hate chopping garlic. I hate mincing garlic. So I use the garlic, but I get the big one because I cook so much.
Yeah. We have a bigger one. I
John's
thought we
half-
had a bigger one, but
John's half Italian and half Greek, so
yeah.
it's a slip and slide with garlic. So
You'll
Yeah.
uh,
and it's still not
Hey,
making it
Becky,
right.
do you have the old style slap chop where you put stuff in and you slap it around?
yeah, I've got one of those. I've also got that. I've got this really cool vegetable chopper too,
Cheater.
and it will mince like teeny tiny cubes for like chili or whatever if you're doing the peppers and onions, and you just smack it down and it does like a whole pepper in like 10 seconds.
Oh wow,
So
yep.
I love
Yep.
that. It's just I hate chopping the garlic, but it probably will taste better. I do have another Italian recipe you might like. This one is really good. You guys probably have seen me post it on my page a couple times.
I've got the cannoli.
It's called greens and beans. It is fantastic. And I will tell you, the first time I had it, I thought it tasted like shit. I said it was too garlicky and too bitter.
Not now.
But the person that made it only made the fried greens with the beans, and she burnt the garlic. So burnt garlic will kill it. So with
Yeah.
this one, because the kids won't touch it, we started out with hot sausage. Gianelli is preferred, and I prefer to actually slip it out of the casings rather than buy it in bulk because it tastes better. And John likes to pick on me when I do it too. So I take a good
That condom
take
off.
take about a pound of hot Italian sausage, brown it up, make sure it starts getting brown, not just gray. Make sure it starts to crisp up a little bit. You really want that. You want to render the fat. And sometimes Gianelli sausage is a little too lean, and you have to actually add fat to the pan. Use some olive oil, just drizzle it around, about a tablespoon or two. Delicious. Once you get that going and you got brown stuff down on the bottom of the pan, you want to add a whole quart of chicken stock. Chicken stock, chicken broth. Actually, chicken broth tastes better because it's got more flavor and it's a little bit saltier. Even the low sodium is a little bit saltier. You get that and you scrape all the brown bits off. So now you've got a whole quart of chicken broth in there with the sausage. Then you want to take 2 cans of white kidney beans or cannellini beans, whatever it's called on the thing. You want to drain and rinse them. You want to dump them in. And you want to add what I call metric tons of garlic, probably a good heaping 2 or 3 tablespoons of this. Seems like a lot, but it's going to go through that broth and it's going to taste really, really good. And then you want to take either a whole head or I cheat and go to Wegmans. You take escarole, and it's got to be cleaned really, really well if you buy the head because there's going to be sand at the bottom and it's going to be gritty and you're going to have the nastiest taste and stuff because you're just going to have sand in your teeth. So I go to Wegmans. It's triple washed and it's already chopped. But you want to add a whole bag of that. Put that in, and once it starts coming back up to a boil, turn it down, put the lid on it, and just let it simmer for about 20 minutes. That is fantastic. I serve it with garlic toast. And the other night we did caprese salad with it, which is like the easiest thing, tomatoes, fresh mozzarella and fresh basil, and then balsamic glaze. That you need the glaze, not just regular vinegar. You gotta have the glaze that's boiled down. And I will tell you, you walk away from the table extremely full, and it's refreshing, and it's good on a cool day because it's kind of a soup, but it's not really a soup. It's more of, but it's not really a stew either because it's not thickened. So, but it's really really good, and a lot of restaurants will serve it for like $12.99 for a bowl, and I can get all the ingredients for about $12.99 and make an entire pot, and we still have a little bit of leftovers, and I'm telling you, it is so good. It's yeah.
I mean, when is spaghetti night again? 'Cause,
We can do one,
okay, I'm
but it's
there.
really freaking good.
We're going. So I have one more of of Farmer Elaine. That's what I call her sometimes. When I was writing all this stuff down, and I gotta tell you, Becky, just listening to you talk, I don't know why you don't have like your own cooking show. I mean, you were like
I probably
right to the
could.
point, like right down to like once you start smelling, this is what you got to do. I mean, I would have been like still stuck on the first line of the whole cooking thing. So you should probably do your own cooking show
I
too.
haven't even done the baking part yet. The
Oh.
next recipe one, I'll do do my magic cake.
Gotcha.
You'll love that.
So,
Yeah.
So Aline, obviously, everything comes out of her garden. I don't think she ever really buys anything from the store. Everybody likes chili, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here
Here
is
see if she's got my secret ingredient in it.
probably
I
here
don't
is her
know.
recipe. As soon as this car goes by, hi. Speed
Gotta
racer.
fart while you're
Sorry.
stirring it.
So, one yellow onion diced, 2 teaspoons salt, 2.5. If you don't add 2 teaspoons of salt, could you really tell though? Seriously? I don't know.
I mean,
Anyway.
you could eyeball it, or you could skip it because most of the time, if you're using any canned product, there's salt in it. So I usually don't add salt. So, but can you put a pull? Oh shit! Hang on.
Look at the side.
Yeah, I know it's been there for a couple days.
All right. Well, I'm going to continue. So, 2.5 pounds of ground beef, 6 cans of chili beans, 46 ounces of tomato juice, 5 ounces of tomato sauce, 1 cup ketchup, 2 bay leaves, a half a cup of water, 3/4 teaspoon garlic salt, a half teaspoon pepper, 1 tablespoon of chili powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne, and 2 teaspoons of cumin, 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. And I'm assuming for the acidity, that's what the brown sugar is for. So you cook the onion and beef, drain, combine all, remove the bay leaf, and let simmer until ready to eat. Does anybody make their chili a little bit different or whatnot?
Well, mine's different. Mine's different.
I don't usually make my own except for the one time
Mine
that I told you about earlier.
Okay.
I usually make a big pot because apparently my chili's really good. I used to make it at the store, and one of the girls I worked with hated the way I made it because it sold so quickly. I start out with hamburger,
right.
and I usually don't do ground chuck because it's been awfully fatty, so I tend to go with more of a ground round, so it's a little bit less fatty. But I brown that up, and I kind of drain some of the grease off because otherwise it's going to end up being a total pile of grease, but the grease will give you flavor. And I add a good amount of minced peppers and onions, and I cook them till those are soft. Once those are soft, you want to add about 2 tablespoons of chili powder. You want to add about a tablespoon or 2 of ground cumin, however you want to pronounce that. It's what gives it that smoky flavor that gets you right here. You know how certain dishes get you right here, and you're like, "What is that?" That's what that is. Then I don't use this spice very often, but I always use it in my chili. You want to take about a teaspoon of dried oregano.
Coca.
Okay? Put it in your hand and rub it. That's going to release the oils because that's going to be good in that chili. So rub it like this in your hands, dump that in. When you're done with that, you want to add about a tablespoon of sugar because you're putting a lot of bitter things in there. You don't want it too bitter. And you got to be careful because if your peppers and onions are super sweet, like around this time of year, most of the local ones are super sweet. You might not need as much. After with that, you want to take unsweetened cocoa. Yes, the chocolate stuff. It's water.
No, he's not.
It's water.
Let me see.
It's water.
Okay. All right.
You want to put about a tablespoon of
Ginger.
unsweetened cocoa powder. You just put it on.
Okay, never mind, never mind, never mind.
Don't.
Stop. I thought he was getting that.
No. Sorry, we've got a child running around and needing something opened and someone not knowing what he's doing. Okay, go.
No.
Go. So after you get that cocoa in, you want to I add 2 cans of red kidney beans. I like the dark ones. And 2 cans of black beans. You want to drain and rinse them because I don't like that stuff that's on them. You put those in. Then you want your handy dandy Pastine kitchen ready tomatoes. Maybe they'll sponsor us someday.
No.
But anyway, you add a can of those and you rinse out the can and you put that in. I cook everything. I'll cook a lot of my stuff in my Instant Pot, but it's got a simmer cycle. It's got a saute feature. So I can do all that in the Instant Pot, and then I could put it on slow cooker mode, and I just let it go in the crock all day for like 6-8 hours. And I've been serving it mostly lately over the last couple of years with cheddar garlic biscuits, like the ones from Red Lobster. You can buy a mix, and you can either buy the mix. I buy the Aldi's mix, and it's gluten-free, and let me tell you, it is. But I also have a cornbread recipe that's like a cake, and my kids like that too. But we kind of do the cheddar bay biscuits, and I'm telling you, yeah, maybe I should do a cooking segment for you. I should do it.
So the way that you describe what you're doing, I'm like, it's like watching Guy Fieri go to like dinner drive and how they explain everything. I'm like,
I was a terrible cook. I didn't know how to freaking cook at all.
Oh shit.
No, for a long time, for a while. And then I started watching cooking shows and watching them, how they talk and how they move. And then my dad always had cookbooks. So I've got some, I've got quite a collection. There's more out in the garage. I haven't even brought in the house. And I read them like novels. I don't know. Maybe I need to make a cookbook. I don't know. The stuff, the shit I like,
you should do
it's just
30-minute segment of cooking with Becky, and
we could do that. I could
good.
clean up and figure out how to do a camera angle or something, or maybe have someone else come over and shoot while I'm here so we can move around without having to situate a stand here and there. But I'm telling you, I read cookbooks like novels. I like, I read them. I read the recipe. I read the directions. And then in my head, I can imagine what things taste like. I don't know. Probably it's because I can't have a lot of things. So I have to, think. And if there's an ingredient in there I don't like, I'll change it to something I do like, and it's just a matter of taste. If you don't like it, don't eat it,
Really, right?
And that's kind of what we do here. I mean, tonight was kind of quick and simple because I am not doing takeout every freaking night. And this was easy. I did my chicken thighs that I coated in this, and I love this stuff. I'm telling you, I went to Big Lots and bought more of them because I could only find one at Walmart this year. So it's just eat what you like what you eat, and
Yeah.
follow what your doctor says too. Otherwise, you're gonna end up on shit like this all the time. So take care of yourself.
No,
Moderation.
I'm enjoying these recipes. So so we're gonna go over to Becky's house a lot and eat. I'll come over and I'll hold the camera while you cook because I know that I'm going to be eating later. So, So Jen actually has she made this one year or one Sunday during football. Wasn't really hungry and she just came up with this recipe.
That one.
Oh, that one.
That one's just.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was looking at.
Just-
I'm blind. That's why I got bifocals.
They're just peanut butter protein balls.
You can get very, very sick by it. Nobody
Um,
understands.
1 cup creamy peanut butter, 1/4 cup honey, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, 1 1/4 cup oats, 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1/4 cup of chocolate chips. Mix it together, get a little, those cookie.
Yeah, you know those cookie where it looks like an ice cream scoop.
Yeah.
Cookie scoop.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you just stick them in the fridge for like 45 minutes, and there you go. A nice, healthy-ish snack.
That sounds good. That
No,
sounds
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So, like, so the first time that she made them, I'm like, okay, and I was like,
Cookie
hey,
scoop.
because they're supposed to be for energy and they're supposed to be healthy. So,
I mean, I do have
I'll
a
definitely
peanut butter
post that
cookie recipe that is the easiest thing in the world. There's no gluten in it because there's no flour in it. And you wouldn't think they would turn out just by the ingredients, but I'm telling you, they're really, really good. And everybody always likes them from here.
Trust it.
Try,
Trust it.
take a cup of peanut butter, okay? Usually get the good stuff because it tends not to have extra oil added to it because you want it to hold together. Cup of peanut butter, a cup of sugar, teaspoon of vanilla. I tend to go heavy with it, so it's more like a tablespoon, and 1 egg. Mix it all together. Roll it into like little 1-inch balls. Place them on your baking sheet. Do the little crisscross thing with the fork. Pop them in the oven for 10 minutes. You pull them out. They're gonna look not done. Pull them out. Let them sit for another 10 minutes on the cookie sheet. Hopefully you got like parchment paper on it. Bake them at like 350. Don't touch them. Let them cool. Once they cool, then you can take them off. When you take them off, it'll melt in your mouth just like fudge. Because it's pretty much kind of fudge. You're baking fudge basically, but making it in a cookie shape. I'm telling you, they are the best peanut butter cookies. I've been making them for years, and I think I actually, first time I made them, I was at George and Jen's old apartment because she was making them, and my nephew had just gone gluten-free. This was before I went gluten-free. And I was so impressed, and I brought home some cookies because we made cookies. So that tells you how long I've been cooking these.
Yeah.
Becky, after the show, you're gonna have to text me the exact way to do that. We're going to the store.
You can go
I mean,
tomorrow.
Oh, the peanut butter
I
cookies, they're
think that we
easy.
do any dessert recipes.
Oh,
So
I've got
I
one.
got
I'll definitely do a part 2 with recipes. I didn't write it down, but my black magic cake is fantastic. It's my sister calls it black velvet cake. It doesn't have black velvet in it, but it's real soft and the crumb is perfect. It's like a velvet the way when you look at it. It is beautiful. And it's got so much cocoa powder, and I usually use the black cocoa powder just for extra thing. And it's got coffee in it. And chocolate and coffee, you put the two of them together, they bring each other out, and I'm telling you.
all right, you know what? Becky has
I
a good-
have
we're just moving
I have
in
a
with-
good I have a good adult drink to end the recipes with.
Sounds
Go
good.
ahead.
Everybody likes vanilla shakes, right? Like a
Yeah.
vanilla milkshake.
Okay.
So take 2 shots,
I'm sold.
Crown vanilla. Crown
2
Royal
shots,
vanilla.
Is it a Crown?
vanilla ice cream, and heavy whipping cream, and blend it up. Done.
Oh, I'd be like drunk quick. Ooh,
Done.
Holy
Milkshake.
Wait,
Ah,
say
oh.
that again. Okay, so
What was the liquor?
Crown Royal.
Crown
vanilla.
Royal vanilla.
Nella.
oh, you're right. No, but it's Crown. Yeah. Okay, and you just mix it in like a blender.
Yeah. Like a milkshake, like you're doing a milkshake. Only
Add
don't
ice cream,
use
add
milk,
vanilla
use
ice
cream.
and use cream.
Wow.
'cause it'll taste
Use
better.
cream instead of milk because this is your liquid. You don't want a thin milk. You want a thicker cream.
Makes sense.
You can use any vanilla flavored. I like Crown Royal. You can also do a caramel one with caramel Crown Royal
Ooh,
and maybe put a little caramel sauce on the top.
that sounds good.
You know, when we do a dinner at Becky's, I think that's definitely got to be made. That's
I'll bring
wow.
it.
That's
Oh,
amazing.
man, that sounds good.
Yeah, and that's easy. I've even done. I don't use the Crown Royal. I think it's Captain Morgan makes an orange vanilla.
Oh, I've seen that.
And I put a shot or two of that in a glass. Put some ice cream in there, like a scoop or two, and then put orange soda over it like a float.
That sounds good too.
Right.
That sounds good too, man.
And if you're really into the alcohol part of it, instead of using like Crush or Sunkissed, use Henry's Hard Orange Soda.
That's good too. That sounds good. Come here.
I've had that before, but I like the milkshakes better.
Made her appearance tonight. Come here.
Yeah, I'd like to try that milkshake. I think that would. Does it have to be vanilla, or is that just your preference?
No. That's just the first one I made. But you can use, like I said, you could use the caramel, the caramel Crown Royal, which
over here. Come here.
I have.
Woman.
And you don't have to, you can make it in whatever flavor you want as long as you have the flavor profile. I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, what flavor do you want? They make Kahlua, so you could probably make chocolate.
Ooh,
I'm sold.
That sounds good.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're trying them all. Yep.
Yeah.
I had to sneak her in. She didn't make her appearance.
I see. Yeah, I just thought we should end with a adult beverage.
That sounds good.
Absolutely. I mean, because you send so many awesome drinks to us in our group message that
Yeah.
Well, I don't know even how that came up. They just start popping up, and I'm like, oh, that sounds cool.
They go by stuff they hear you talk about. I keep getting all sorts of...
This is a family show. I can't repeat a lot of the names of the drinks.
Oh no, I don't think we can repeat the name of any of them.
I don't think we should. Yeah, some of them are a little raunchy, but that doesn't bother me in the group chat.
Oh no.
So anybody have just anything? Just we got a couple minutes left before we're done. Anybody? I can't wait to rewatch this show because I'm gonna make notes of a lot of those recipes. So
I do have another drink recipe. It's real easy. You take equal parts of peanut butter whiskey and butterscotch schnapps. Pour it over ice, shake it up. It's drank as a shot because if you try and make a drink, you're gonna get freaking loaded. It tastes like a Butterfinger. It's really freaking good. So probably about half an ounce of each, and shake it over ice and drink that as a shot. It's really good. Real simple.
Sounds good.
I found out peanut butter whiskey is really easy and smooth and goes down quite easily. Yeah.
There's the peanut butter and jelly shot.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what's in it, but
hey,
they use that whiskey, and I think they use it's what Chambord or something like that. It's like a raspberry liqueur.
Yeah.
And you mix that, and it tastes like peanut butter and jelly. It's good.
Have you ever had the caramel apple drink?
yes.
It's
Washington apple.
It's salted caramel Crown Royal, apple Crown Royal, and I think it's just Sprite or 7-Up or something like that.
That sounds good too, man.
And it tastes similar to a caramel apple.
That sounds yummy.
So basically, we're gonna have a big spaghetti dinner at Becky's, and then we're gonna have alcoholic beverages and just like crash at Becky's. Okay, so awesome. That's I had so when we decided to do this, I'm like, okay, I didn't know what anybody was gonna really bring out, and I was like, now we all have something to try. So thank you all.
Not a problem. Sorry for shoving my stuff in my face earlier, but I had to eat dinner. I hadn't had anything yet. So.
I'm glad you corrected yourself because this is a family show. We don't stuff our faces in places, Becky.
I didn't swear a lot either. I don't think I dropped an F-bomb.
No,
I think
is
I've
this
been
the
pretty good
first show
tonight.
where nobody swore, including John?
You said shit.
Oh, she said shit. Oh, Becky.
Oh,
No, but listen, we were gonna have Jacqueline on, but she had technical difficulties. So obviously we're gonna do another show. We're gonna be doing more shows.
Oh yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
thank Miss Becky for coming on.
No
I know
problem.
that sounds a little weird, but that's the way we are. George, thank you for taking time. I know that you work long hours and you're up early. Thank you, Jen, for writing down. And seriously, right here, the peanut protein bars, I'm telling you, they were really,
That sounds good too.
yeah.
I like those.
And
Yeah.
like she said, an hour later, they were ready to eat. So they were really good.
As long as I get hard.
And sometimes she'll put little chocolate chips in it, miniatures, but oh yeah, you were there at that. But hey, we're gonna do another show next week. Is Conspiracy Theories 2. Get to working on it because I'm gonna be Sunday to Thursday. Who's on the show? Who's doing what? Let's do this. Let's do this. Oh, wait.
I've got one that can be dragged on for probably about 3 or 4 hours, so you'll like this one.
Well, we can do many parts, but John is more than welcome. I know we got to end this here in a minute, but John is more than welcome to share what he talked to me on the phone about one time. I don't want to give it away. It is a surprise. So.
Oh yeah.
So, but thank you all for doing this. It'll be uploaded soon. Look for us on every major playlist. We're on everything. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. This is JK'z Rewatchable Hour. I am JDUBBS, my co-host. Craig Kelsel is on assignment. Not really. He's probably just in Atlanta doing hookers and blow, as he usually does. But he will be back eventually. Sorry, I had to add that in there. I had to swear a little bit. But thank you all.
It's our way of dealing with it. Craig's doing what he's got to do. So.
He's taking care of what he's got to do. Absolutely. But I prefer hookers and blow. But so
Hookers
listen,
and blow.
everybody, you have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow. We will see you next week on JK'z Rewatchable Hour. We are out.
Hey.